What's happening, YouTube? Jeff Robbins with Robbins Racing here, and I've got another engine service video for you. We're going to be taking a look at this engine right here. Probably one of my favorite engines I've worked on for a few reasons, but I was able to build this one up from a short block before last race, so it's got 2 full practice days and a full race day on it. And the valves and the valve seats, they kind of like to tend to move and warp after the first few heat cycles. So we're going to pull the head, check it, make sure everything's tight, and if we need to cut the seats and lap the seats, we're going to do that as well. So that's what this video is going to be. So while I've got you here, I wanted to show you this. This is another engine that I just finished up with, and I got to tell you, man, I absolutely love that green side cover. I'm actually jealous that I did mine gray. I probably should have done it green because this thing just looks amazing with my logos on there. But finished that one up yesterday. I've also got this KA here waiting for a piston. That'll be here tomorrow, so that'll be what I work on tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at this one today. So I'm going to get the head pulled off. We're going to do the old Robbins Racing flashlight test on it, see how that does, and then we'll put it on the isolated leak down tester, and we'll do any service that's needed. Alright, so I've got the head off the engine. Unfortunately, I was not able to save the head gasket. I tried my best, but unfortunately it left quite a bit behind here on the head, so we're definitely going to have to replace that. So I have already checked this, and both the intake and the exhaust are leaking. So hopefully I can get an angle on this so you guys can see it as well. But let me kill the lights real quick. So let's go ahead and we'll check the exhaust first. See that right there? There it is. So that right there is the exhaust port, and we've definitely got some light leaking out of there. Let's go ahead and we'll check the intake. if I can get an angle for you. Oh, there it was, right there. So there's light leaking out the intake. So just after basically one weekend, so 2 full practice days and 1 race day, both of these are leaking. So in my opinion, guys, if you get yourself a new head or a new engine, you're going to run it for your first weekend, and you're definitely going to need to get your valves serviced, or else you're just going to be losing power. You don't want your valves to be leaking like that. So I'm going to clean this surface up real quick. I'm going to put it on the isolated tester. Let's do a leak up test on it just to see what we're starting out with. And then we're going to cut and lap the seats, and then we'll do one final leak up test on it, and we can put the engine back together. Okay, so I mean, as you can see, we're definitely no longer in my basement. I had left the air compressor out here, and it's tucked all the way back there in my trailer, and I'm just not trying to pull all this stuff out to get to it. So we're gonna do the leak up test right here. But I guess while we're in here, you can check out our little trailer setup. Father, son, a go-kart, and a trailer. So we got some grassroots racing right here for sure. Yeah, this is how we get to and from the track. Got the Briggs up here. We got our X30 down here. So let's go ahead. So I've got our head mounted up to the leak up tester. So let's go ahead and add some pressure and see what we got. I'm gonna set you down real quick. Sitting at about 15% leak down. We'll definitely want to get that tightened up a little bit. And if you can listen, it's actually quite a bit of air leaking out the intake for 15% leak down. Okay guys, so that's what we're going to start with. So let's take this head back downstairs, and let's cut some seats. Okay guys, we're back in the trailer, and unfortunately when I was about halfway done working on the exhaust valve, I turned the camera off, ran upstairs to grab something to eat, came back down, and I totally forgot to turn the camera back on. So all you really missed was about, I don't know, about 10 minutes of me lapping up the exhaust valve trying to get it completely sealed. But I was able to get it completely sealed. We've got it mounted up here to the leak down tester. So let's go ahead and put some pressure into this head and see what the results are. Look at that. Definitely well below 10. So in my opinion, that's good to go. So I'm gonna run this engine on the dyno, essentially just to warm it up and do an oil change on it. So I'm not gonna videotape all that. You guys definitely seen enough of that. But once I've done that and I've got the engine put back together, I'll bring you back and show you the engine. Alright, so we got a couple of 206 engines here, both freshened up, ready to hit the track. So going through both of them, both had leaking intake and exhaust valves. And speaking with the customer on this one, this engine hasn't been serviced in over a year. So I've got those valves all nice and sealed up. And actually when I was going through the carburetor, I noticed that the retaining clip for the needle was completely missing. So that needle was just bouncing around inside of the carburetor. So once they get this thing back on the track, it should be running great for them. They should be happy. And then this one's the one that just had one race weekend on it. Both the valves were leaking, so we've got those nice and tight. And carburetor cleaned up, so this one's ready to go. And just one thing I want to tell you guys before I leave is that when your drivers get off the track, just ensure they're pulling the recoil starters over until they feel tight. That's going to help prevent your valve seats from warping and losing a bunch of power out of the top end of your engine. Aside from regular oil changes, that's probably one of the best things you can do to prevent your engine from losing a bunch of horsepower. So just every time they get off the track, just make sure they're pulling over that recoil starter. Once it feels tight, that's going to put the engine somewhere close to top dead center, close the valves, and help prevent your seats from warping. So that's it, guys. Definitely appreciate you guys for watching. Plan your race, race your plan, have a good time at the track.